Okay. Well, welcome everybody. I know there'll be other people joining us, but a lot of you are here already. My name is Iona. I am the facilitator of this particular class. It's a Living Truth class. I'll mention a little bit more about that in a moment. I really want to welcome very warmly Sebastian and thank him for joining us and bringing a beautiful group together as well, a much bigger group than we normally have on a Wednesday, which is a Wednesday evening for us. It could be morning for some of you and different time zones. So thanks everyone for being here. Just to give you a little bit of background for those of you who are new to us, this is what we call the Living Truth Group. And I actually put our website address in the chat so you can see it. But we're a group of people who meet. We have 16 offerings every week. On most weekdays, we meet 3 times a day. And then we have classes at the weekend too. And our classes are all based on the truth, on spiritual texts. And as a group, we're all very devoted to our spiritual growth and our and being in this world. And together we explore these texts and we really go into them very deeply, help each other understand the intention behind the words, the essence of what's being said within the words. It's a beautiful group and you're all very welcome to join. Our calendar is on that livingtruth.love website, which is in the chat, which you can see in the chat. So all are very, very welcome. And like I said, we have 16 sessions. 3 of them are devoted to Choose Only Love. So on Wednesdays, we have 2 Choose Only Love classes, and on Fridays, we have 1. And we are currently very deep into books 5, 6, and 7. So we're exploring those texts on a very, very regular basis as a group. But it's a beautiful group. We meet together and discuss the works. And today we're actually going to be reading from, oh, thank you for telling me. I'll repost the website. It may have dropped off. Let me just do that right now. Thank you for that. Hopefully that shows up for everyone. And today we're going to be reading from The Divine Relationship with Sebastian. If you don't have the book, it's totally fine. Just listen. And the way we do this is that we read a couple of paragraphs from the book, and then we stop, we pause when it feels natural to pause, and we talk about what's in the text. And when you want to speak, the best way to do it would be to raise your hand using the little button. There's a little reactions button in the bottom right of your screen, and you raise your hand like this. Then I'll be able to see you and I'll know that you have something to say or a question to ask or something to share from the particular reading. But as is customary for us in our group, we always start with a piece of music to ground ourselves, to bring ourselves into the present, to settle into the moment. So I'm going to share a piece of music. It's not very long, it's 2 or 3 minutes. This piece is Abun. It's the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic. And I'd like to share that. And I think everybody's on mute, but just check if you're not on mute, just make sure you're on mute. So just take this moment to settle in, to go inside, to bring yourself here, to ground yourself in the moment. And I will see you on the other side of this piece of music. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. Well, I would like to start by inviting Sebastian, if you wouldn't mind, to say a few words to us about just a little bit of an introduction. I think most of us know who you are, but it would be lovely to hear it from you and a little bit about what your intention or what you would like to see happen and in this group. And we'd just love to hear from you, Sebastian. So why don't you go ahead?
Thank you, Iona, and everyone here. Thanks for co-creating this space of heaven on the earth, because this is what these holy encounters are all about, according to our Divine Mother. She said in one of the dialogues that every time that we are united, surrounded by love and truth, she is going to be present because she is the mother of love. And every time that she is present, heaven and the whole creation is with us. So thank you for bringing heaven to the earth through this gathering, through this encounter, through the desire of knowing the truth that you are doing every week. Thank you very much. And also, I would like to thank you for being open to receive and walk together with the revelation that I'm receiving, which is part of the new. It is a new energy of revelations. It talks about the direct relationship with God, which is the new. The new is the direct relationship with our source, the union between heaven and earth. And this is what we are doing here. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to have this experience of union of Christ and who we are. I really feel gratitude. I feel honored to be here and to be part of this world in this time of history. We are in a very important time for our consciousness and for the universal consciousness, according to our Divine Mother. And we are not only being witness of how the new is being unfolded through the Christ that we are, but also we are co-creating that. We are co-creating the new earthly kingdom together with our presence, with what we are. So thank you, thank you, thank you very much for inviting me to be here. Thank you for everything that you do in order to extend the divine light into this world. And talking to me, I don't know what to say because I usually don't talk about me because I know I'm the Christ that I am. And you all know that because we are the same essence, we are the same Christ in us. But talking about something more practical, I'm now in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and living in a place which is called Refuge of Divine Love, which is the retreat center or the gathering center that we co-created based on the guidance of our Divine Mother. She told me once that she wanted to create this house for all her sons and daughters to come here and to have the experience of the embrace of Mary, the embrace of our Divine Mother, which is the grace that everyone that comes here receives. And it is located in an island, in a very natural environment, because our Divine Mother wants us to have the experience of the union with God through the union with the earth. She told me once, humanity will return to heaven through the earth. And this is why this refuge of divine love is in a very natural and, I would say, wild environment, surrounded by waters, wood, and so many different beings in this natural environment. And this is a place of silence and prayer where you are always, always welcome to come, and everyone in the world is welcome to visit, because whomever comes here is moved by our Divine Mother. And I'm devoted to the voice of Christ, and I do whatever that voice tells me to do. And this is why I'm here in this gathering. And also, this is the reason why I am here in this earthly kingdom. Thank you for listening to me.
Wow, thank you. We're, we're very grateful that you have given us, that you have received this and extended this to us. And it really is what this feeling of divinity coming through us, through our humanity, and how important both are, the humanity and the divinity, and the extension of love through that is what these books are really bringing us to as we go deeper and deeper and deeper in understanding the importance of both. So for us, it's such a the depths that we go to with these books, and also because we know that you continue to you're continuing to receive, and you're continuing to publish, and you just recently published something new. We can hardly keep up with you, Sebastian. We're reading 3 books at the same time, but we still can't keep up with you. So we're very grateful to have all of these new revelations come to us so freely and so quickly, and we're all enjoying them very, very much. So thank you. I know many of you may have just joined, and we're going to be reading a little bit from the Divine Relationship today, but we will leave time, 25 minutes or 20 minutes at the end, where we can also ask Sebastian questions other than what's in the book, if we wish. He's open and available to do that. So we'll read a little bit now together, we can comment. And the way we usually work, for those of you new to the group, is we will read part of the text. If something arises, if you have an inspiration, or you have a revelation, or you just want some clarification, just raise your hand using the little hand button in Zoom, and I will call on you. And of course, we'd love to hear from you, Sebastian, as we're going through this. This is such an honor to have you here. So for those of you who have the book, The Divine Relationship, we are on page 195. We're in chapter 15. And if you're in the Kindle version, we're in the section number 2, and in chapter 15, and it's called I Take Pleasure in You. And if you don't have the book, just listen along and you'll get the essence of what's being said here. I'm going to read a little bit from the paragraph before that, just to bring us into the context of this. And then, Sebastian, if you don't mind to read a couple of paragraphs into that section, we'd love to hear that. And then just pause when you feel naturally moved to pause, and we can pause there. So I will just start the paragraph before, and then I'll hand it over to you. Given the law of attraction of likeness, when your will prepares to live in love, what your mind receives is one with love, and therefore with peace, beauty, harmony, bliss, and lightness of spirit. Opposites reject each other. Likes unite. Everything you see in your life is an expression of what happens inside you. As inside, so outside. We have often repeated this truth. I do not do so here to be redundant, but to start connecting the dots that will allow you to understand reality from a new perspective, which will allow you to be aware of your freedom. Sebastian, I can hand it over to you to read a little bit of I Take Pleasure in You.
I take pleasure in you. You are here receiving the word that comes from the consciousness of Christ, because your heart yearns to hear my voice. You are freely choosing me. You are freely loving me. Your desire, together with your will, makes you literally open the doors of heaven to what lives there and is the source of your being and of everything. You are not doing it because you are holy or perfect. You do it for the simple reason of freedom. Your soul is heaven, where God has put what He created. Within your mind and heart is a divine reality that is but a thought away and which you can access without any restriction. How you access it is not something you can define, since the path of access to the divine relationship or unity has been determined by the Creator. In fact, the path of access to unity, unity itself, and what exists in it is at its reality are one. The relationship and what is related to it are a unity. To some extent, pure love is externalized because when your access in unity becomes one with you, it thus expresses itself in a way only you can. If you decide to leave the world of time and space and inhabit another dimension of creation, the divine relationship goes with you. For it is an essential part of your being. Wherever you go, love will go with you.
Thank you, Sebastian. I want to see if anything, well, first of all, anything, Sebastian, you want to say about that, or is anything arising for anyone else on this? And just raise your hand if you wish to speak with the reactions button. I think we were all just enjoying listening to your voice so much, Sebastian. We were. But Bonnie, go ahead.
It's real reassuring to me, this last sentence, wherever you go, love will go with you. And I feel that applies to my daily life. Tomorrow when I go with my friend to the X-ray department and when I go into eternity, just knowing, being reassured that love will go with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie. It's beautiful. Lida, my dear.
What's rising for me is something you said, Sebastian, before you started reading, about the new being our embrace of heaven and joining with specifically Mother Earth. And it just made me cry. It's like so many things have been moving me in that recognition to a deep felt experience of Mother Gaia as our mother, right? Our earthly mother and the source of, I don't know if source is the right word, but it's just a singular being, Mother Gaia and her inhabitants and humanity, and that sense of excitement that we could finally honor her and include her in our awakening, such that the healing is shared. The healing in unity, right? As I am healed, my world is healed. And that's just the sense of it, that this is the creation of the new, that we are finally honoring Mother Gaia, and it will be reflected in how we treat her and then how we are supported by her. And it's a singular act of giving and receiving. So that just, I love it. Thanks for being with us. really feeling the majesty. And that's why we do 3 books, 3 meetings a week. It's so funny because if I read it by myself, it's good. I come to a class and join with all of us. Energy is stupendous. Yeah, because that's what it's about. It's about finding each other. I am not myself alone. Yeah, and we join. So much strength.
Thank you, Lita. Yes, it's so true. When we come together and we go, it just takes it all to a whole new level. And seeing all these beautiful angelic faces on the screen just brings the energy even higher for all of us. Glad.
I'd like to play off what Lita just said, as we often do. And first of all, to thank Sebastian for being here. It's really a joy to meet you, not only in spirit, but in person as well. Thank you for being here. Because you were talking about the new, and these classes that we have each week, we are discovering the new, and it is in that you could almost call it abstract, but it isn't. It's the Christ energy itself that exists and grows and evolves as each of us expresses ourselves. And it's a beautiful thing to come out of the room each week, or even out of the Zoom room, and feel this a newness of spirit as each one comes into a new experience of ourselves. I love this last paragraph that you read. I was touched by the idea that we have the freedom to move into another world of outside of time and space and inhabit another dimension. But what we bring with us is the source of who we are, our divine relationship with God, no matter where we are, whatever we do. And that just feels such a blessing. Not that we don't know that somehow, but we're actually having the experience of that now. And that is what is bringing us all such joy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Glad. Thank you. Why don't we read a little bit more? Let's see, I'm just looking on my screen here. I know who has the book. Mimi, you have the book. Would you like to read a little bit more for us? We can explore this further.
Yes, thank you. I'd love to. I have said, to some extent. What I mean by that qualification is that you can remain united to love and allow it to be expressed through you, but you cannot make yourself what you are not. You did not create yourself. Your being of pure beauty and wisdom is like a glass of pure crystal, with the Creator molded with her own hands to pour out divinity. If you cannot create God, nor create your being, and therefore cannot define the way in which the divine expression manifests in you, since it arises as a result of your joining the Creator, then where is your freedom? You are free to love or not to love, to join love or move away from it. Remember the simplicity of the truth. We can only be united in freedom. In this truth, we begin to understand more about the creation of the new. truly, truly, I tell you once again that the new is already being created. What we will do now is make clear the basics of this novelty, whose reality you are beginning to glimpse more and more. Boy, I almost couldn't get through all of that. I almost lost it on one of the lines. It was so, sometimes some of the visuals are so potent and they're such poetry that it just, your being of pure beauty and wisdom is like a glass of pure crystal, which the Creator molded with her own hands to pour out divinity. Wowzer. Thank you for that. That's just so beautiful. I'm gonna stop at the end of this page. I like the clarification of the freedom. Freedom comes from my ability to choose love or not to love. So I don't have to be holy or perfect to do it. That's a relief. So thank you.
It was really beautiful to have that simple clarification of where our freedom truly lies. Our freedom lies in moving towards love or moving away from love. We have free will to do either. And neither of them are judged, but it's our choice. And since we are all here gathered together, I think our choice is to choose only love, which is clearly why we want to be here, why we want to be with these books and with these words and these readings. But yes, sometimes the poetry is overwhelming in this, to pour out divinity. We were designed to pour out divinity. It's incredible. Jan.
I just wanted to add that for me, I have never experienced or felt how extremely powerful, what amazing power free will has. I mean, it's something I've thought about and accepted as part of reality, but I have never felt the power like I felt it when Mimi was reading it. So thank you. Wonderful experience.
Thank you, Jan. Yeah, there's such power in reading these words out loud, and I don't know if Sebastian or others have experienced that, but it's one thing to sit and read them ourselves, it's beautiful, but when we read these words and they flow through us and we feel into them as we're reading them, and then we share them and extend them to each other in love, it's almost like the words are somehow amplified. The meaning, the intent behind them, the essence is amplified. And that's why we so enjoy it. That's why we come together like this. I just wondered if, Sebastian, if you had anything to add to what's already been said or what we just read.
Sure. Thank you very much, Iona, and everyone who shared your heart. And going back to what you mentioned about reading loudly these words, using our voice to listen to these words, I agree with you. It's a different experience. It's an experience of being embraced by the remembrance of God. Jesus explained to me why that happens to us. I had the same experience when I was called to record these words, as maybe as you know, in the first section of the books, it talks about how it originated And it says that I received the words, and they are translated by Archangel Raphael and also in the presence of Archangel Gabriel. And after receiving this in Spanish and then in English, I write it down and then I record them using my voice. And that's why we have the opportunity to have the audiobooks in Spanish of this revelation with my voice, because it is part of what heaven tells me to do. And I realized that every time that I record it with my voice, as you mentioned before, I can experience how my humanity becomes more united to the remembrance of God. And Jesus explained me the following. He said, your soul has the capacity to identify the voice of the truth. And every time that you listen to it, your heart vibrates, jumps, and dances because it listens to my voice. And this is what it happens when we listen to this voice, to these words being expressed by others or by ourselves. And it is a mystical experience because it helps us to remember. Maybe you remember that Choose Only Love says that the purpose of this revelation is to heal our memory. It helps us to remember who we are, remembering God. So if we listen to this voice, to these words, if we listen to these words with an open heart, just enjoying it, just receiving it as a love letter coming from heaven to you, we will remember more and more the experience of the relationship with God, with our Divine Mother, with love. And that remembrance, the remembrance of that relationship, will transform our humanity. And this is the way of the new, according to our Divine Mother. It is the love transmuting everything in this universe. So Christ can become an expression of what we are. The union of Christ and humanity, the union of Christ and the physical universe is the new. And that happens when we remember again who we are. So freedom, as it is said in this message, in this chapter that we are reading today, it talks about choosing love or not choosing love. But later on, Jesus will explain us that is based on the knowledge of who we are. Once you remember who you are, you no longer choose anything because you know that the options are being or not being who you are or not being at all, because you will know and you will remember that you are love and nothing else but love. And once you know that you are love, what other options are going to take? Once you know that the only option you have is to be who you are, to love yourself with unconditional love means choosing love. And we all are going to choose only love at the end of the day, because we all are going to know who we are. And once we remember who we are, there will not be any other reason to choose something different. Because once you know you are love, you also know that there is only love. Only love is real. There is nothing out of love. So here we are in the process of first choosing love, as much as you can, just to remember who you are. Because when you love and when you let yourself be loved, you are being who you are. That is the reason why the voice of Christ is asking us to choose only love constantly, every day, every moment, in every circumstances of your life, just to remember who you are. But once you reach the state of consciousness in which you remember the love that you are, you will no longer need to choose anything, because you are going to be extending constantly the love that you are. And that is the reason why we came to this earthly kingdom, to remember who we are, to remember the love that we are. And once we remember that, we return back to the Father's house. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you. We're all taking a moment just to allow those words to penetrate. Thank you for sharing that. Did we actually go beyond the choice? Because there is no choice, really, in truth. Thomas.
Yeah, I just really want to appreciate what Sebastian was just bringing in, and that is the old is leaving and the new is coming in, and I don't have to do anything. I am just plugged in every day for years now, and it's happening without my necessarily doing anything. But and one more point is, I'm really impressed that the language from these books are almost identical to language of like Mari Perron's books. And these are different channelers from different parts of the world. And it's the same message. I feel like Source is really guiding us together as one. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Yes, it's true. Sebastian.
Thank you, Thomas, and thank you, Iona. And yes, I agree with you, Thomas. When you say, actually, I agree with everything you have said, but I would like to take two elements of your sharing, if you allow me to do that. And the first one is about the voice that comes to me, to Marie Perron, or to whomever in this moment, which you can recognize is the same voice, the same source. Our Divine Mother explained me that once, and she said, the revelation is an energy. It's an energy of consciousness. It is the divine energy that goes to the universal consciousness and is manifested in one particular way, which depends on the time in history that this energy is being manifested. In another book, which is called The Age of the Heart, which was already launched after the series of Choose Only Love, it talks about these different stages of consciousness. And now in the new, there is a new energy of consciousness being manifested. So whatever you read or you receive in these new times are going to have the same energy. It is an energy. Our Divine Mother calls that energy the energy of the movement of beautiful love. That's the definition she gives. And she talks about that. She talks in that way. She says, the movement of beautiful love, the movement of beautiful love. She doesn't talk about revelation. She doesn't talk about the words, because she knows that this is an energy, the energy of the new. And that energy of the new is coming from the heart of the Divine Mother. That's why you can perceive and you can have the intuition of having one particular energy, because it's the energy of the Divine Mother. We are in the time of the feminine. We are in the time of the Mother. And the Mother is talking to us through all these revelations. And when I say this, I'm talking about something very specific from the divine energy, which is the sweetness of love. Our Divine Mother says in one of the dialogues that my heart of Mother of Love is talking to everyone now and is co-creating with my sons and daughters the new earthly kingdom through the sweetness of love, tenderness, sweetness, and kindness are going to be the elements and the source of the new. The new is going to born from the sweetness of the heart. And if we think about this, it makes sense because we are now in the age of the heart. We are no longer in the age of the reason, which means that we are no longer living in a time of the mind. We are now living in the time of the heart, in the time of the sweetness of love. And it is also the time of the Divine Mother, because it is the time in which Christ born in each of us and in everything. And it is the Divine Mother who makes this possible. She is here to allow Christ to born in us, because she is the mother that gave birth to the Christ in us, in every single aspect of creation. That's why we are receiving the same energy, the same voice, the same manifestation. No matter who is going to receive it, everyone is going to receive the same energy, which is the voice of the mother. And I would also like to make a short comment about what you also talk about, whether doing something or not in order to be witness and to be into the new and to be part of the new. Our Divine Mother also says that the new is going to be focused on being who you are instead of doing something as it was in the past. So this revelation is helping us to be the love that you are. It's about being. It's about letting away, keeping away the crisis of identity where we come from. Separation is a denial of our true self, of our true identity. So we come from a long, long time of identity crisis. But now we are healed from that. We know who we are. And because we now know who we are and we are ready to express the truth of who we are called to be who we are. We are not called to love. We are called to be love. We are not called to do anything. We are called to be everything. Everything that we truly are. So when we are who we are, when we are honest with what we feel, what we think, when we embrace our humanity as it is in every present moment, we are allowing the Christ that we are to be extended in this earthly kingdom. So yes, I agree with you. It's not about doing anything. It's about being everything. Thank you for listening to me.
Sebastian, we would be happy to listen to you all night. Leave us. Thank you for that. It's beautiful.
And I think, Iona, this is very connected with what you mentioned at the beginning of this gathering. And I was so pleased and happy to listen the Holy Spirit through you when you talk about the unity of the human and the divine aspect of who we are. Because this is also the part of the new. The new is going to be a full integration of our humanity into the divine essence that we are. We are both. We are divine and human at the same time. And if we think about this, Jesus explains that in the past, because we couldn't do something different because of the state of consciousness and the evolution, in the past, we developed spiritualities, different paths of spirituality, either, embracing our divine aspect against our human aspect, or vice versa, having, different lifestyles in which we just embrace the body, just embrace this human experience, and we forget about the divine aspect of who we are. But now we are ready to integrate both into the reality of who we are. And that is the meaning of the Christ that I am, living and being expressed through my humanity. So living in the Christ that we are means being fully human and fully divine at the same time. And I think this is really beautiful because the new spirituality is going to be focused on this, focused on accepting the beauty of your humanity, to embrace every single aspect of your human experience, to love your body, your mind, your heart, your history, the way you are, the way you express yourself in this human life. Because Jesus says, time, space, and matter can never be a limit for love to be extended. So it's now the time in which all of that is going to be integrated into love, and it's going to be, an instrument through which love is going to be extended in the universe, including yourself. And when we think about this, it's a big, big change for our humanity, because we come from centuries and centuries of a belief that says that we are miserable sinners, that we are not enough in one way or another. And this is something that we have deep in our mind and in our heart. And here is our Divine Mother saying, you know what? That is simply not true. That is the new revelation. The new revelation is to understand and to remember that everything that talks about your miserable reality and about you as a sinner, you as something that is not enough, is simply not true. And now we will experience that. And that makes all the difference. Because the first time that I listened to our Divine Mother saying, the only problem you have is that you believe you are not enough. And that is the problem that we are going to solve right now. Accepting that that is simply not true. You are beautiful. You are holy. You are sacred. You are my son. And you are my daughter. And reminding who you are means to return back to the state of being a little boy, a little girl in the arms of your mother, because that is what you are. You are a son, you are a daughter. And living as that is living by the truth. So I believe it's very, very important to know that all this revelation is telling us, love your humanity, embrace your humanity into the love that you are, so you can allow who you are to be manifested, so you can rise into the knowledge of who you are. And that is what Jesus says when, in the first chapter of Choose Only Love, first book, in the prelude, it says, love everything that arises in you. That means your humanity. When our Divine Mother says, humanity is going to return back to heaven through the earth, it's also telling us that we are going to return to Christ through our humanity. Because she says very clearly in one of the dialogues, you cannot love what you do not see if you do not love what you do see. And what is the first thing that we see? Our humanity. So loving our humanity with unconditional love will allow us to remember the truth of our identity, loving our humanity, embracing our humanity, and honoring the earth, honoring every single being in this earthly kingdom because of what they are, expression of the divine love. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Sebastian. One of the parts that we have all been enjoying so deeply is where earlier in this book it says that no one can express love the way you do. Each and every single person can only express love. Everyone is this unique expression of love, each of us individuated expressions of love. And it's so beautiful. So accepting our humanity is accepting our expression of love in all of its forms. And it's such a freedom to realize that, because as you said, Sebastian, we've been shackled by all of this, say, nonsense now that we realize what it is, in a sense, to come through to this realization that our humanity is the key that unlocks our divinity, actually, in this here and now. And that's what we've been going deeper and deeper into, and really enjoying our expressions of who we are in all its joy and all its pain and sadness and happiness. And this is such a freedom to come to. And I know we only have a few moments left, and I just wanted to see if there was anybody. Oh, you have your hand up. I see you there. Thank you.
I'm in the same room, so it's difficult to see. But I was thinking about this idea that these books, of course, brings forth a remembrance inside of us. It's like gene nodes being activated. So it's not just only the words, it's of course the energy behind the words. And because we recognize it, we automatically, as Thomas said, we become it. Like we're not really making much effort, we are just open to it. And then that recognition has its own way of flowing into the world, as Iona said. Then we become all our own expression of love in whatever form that takes. Because now it's like a channel is open, and that freedom, what is inside of you, is now pouring out, you know?
Thanks for your words and for your presence here. And I would like to make a short comment about that, which I believe is very important. As Iona said at the beginning of this holy encounter, she said that I'm still receiving, and that receiving is being shared through new books. And sometimes some people ask me, how can this be possible to receive constantly, the receiving of God or something like that? And it's interesting to receive that question, because that means that we believe that once we open our channel, that when we decided to be aware of the eternal dialogue that is constantly living between God and our soul, once we make the decision to be aware of that, that never stops. Never stops. Because God is talking to our heart constantly. The voice of Christ is constantly extending love to the soul, and the soul is constantly expressing gratitude because of that love that is received by the soul. And there is a dialogue between the love received and the love given for the soul. And that is the dialogue that sometimes we transform into human works. And that is what we call the revelation. But that dialogue is happening constantly, every day, every single instant of our existence, in every single aspect of creation. Because if that dialogue wouldn't exist, Jesus says, you would never, never keep existing if you don't receive my love. So we are constantly receiving that love. Everyone is receiving that. It's not something that we open our channel and then we receive one book and that's it. And then the voice disappears. The voice never disappeared. The voice was talking to the soul, and the soul is responding with love to that voice always, from all eternity. It was doing that before receiving the words, during the receiving of the words, and after receiving. The books or the words shared are just one form of expression of that dialogue. But we all have that dialogue, and we express that dialogue with so many different ways. So there is no something like someone is receiving that and another one is not receiving it. And there is not something like we receive that in a certain period of time and then we don't receive that. It is just about what we do with this dialogue. We can take this dialogue and put that into human words and create books, or we can create music, or we can create paintings, or we can just create a life of love in our daily life with our family, with our neighbors, with who we are. But all of them are different expressions of the same dialogue of love that exists between your soul and God. And it is possible to get into that dialogue, to be aware of that relationship. This is what this book number, the Choose Only Love, talking about the divine relationship, is all about, is about being aware of that relationship that is constantly happening between our soul and heaven and God. And not only in us, but also in every single aspect of creation. That dialogue happens with trees, animals, water, and every element of this universe. Because nothing cannot exist without that dialogue. Nothing can exist without love being, extended to that. I wanted to comment on that because I think it's very beautiful when we remember the truth that God is always, always extending His divine love to us, and is talking to us constantly. And we are responding with love constantly. Maybe our thinking mind doesn't understand this, or maybe is thinking about something different. But this is just our thinking mind. But if we go to our heart, we can be witness of that dialogue. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sebastian. And I know we're almost at time, but Thomas and Pam, you've had your hands up for a while, so please, and we'll take this one and then we'll end.
Yeah, so something came up for me when Sebastian was speaking the first time about the new coming in. And what came up for me was, in the exact same way Mother Mary immaculately conceived Yeshua, she is immaculately conceiving us into the new. And not just the 36 people on this call, right? She's immaculately conceiving everybody into the new. It feels exactly the same to me. How beautiful is that? So thank you. Thank you for opening that up in me.
That's beautiful. What a perfect way to end. Thank you, Thomas. It says it beautifully. And I know we're at time, or I just want to say thank you, Sebastian. I hope this is not the last time we see you. We would love to have you back. We're just, everyone is soaking it all in. We're all like sponges and enjoying your presence so very much, and enjoying everybody's presence is here, because everybody is part of this whole, and we're grateful to everyone who joined us this evening. So thank you, and I guess we end it here, although we would like to stay longer. But Sebastian, thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
And I will post this recording to our Living Truth website, and I'll send a copy to you as well, Sebastian, so we all have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, everyone. Have a joyous, beautiful evening or day, wherever you are. Goodbye.
Thank you all.
Wow, thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
Lucy. And Reverend Rija Joy. And
Rija.
and everyone. Bonnie. I love you all.
Love
I've
you all.
met Peter before.
We love you.
Wow,
I love you
beyond
so much.
words.
Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe.
Green. Joe is here.
Thank you.
Good night, Sebastian.
Good night.
Love you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you. Thanks for being who you are.
Maria todos. Bye.
See, nobody really wants to leave, Sebastian.
I don't want to leave.
Shall we just start all over again?
We can begin the second session.
Exactly.
What is it?
I love you.
I love you too. Thank you so much. Bye,
Spectacular.
everyone. It's good to see you,
Thank you.
Kai, and everyone. Joe, good to
Love
see you
you.
too. Bye.
Bye.
Yes.